is there a reason for Ferrari to make a change from a John Elkann? Or is Ferrari just going to be stuck with someone who does not understand the intricacies of winning in F1 and is more concerned about the logo of Ferrari and selling that brand?
Welcome to the Paddock F1 with Greenie and the cheese. We're caffeinated, we're medicated. It's a podcast by fans for fans. Your dose of F1 news. All the races, all the tracks, and all the drama. Coming up on today's show.
Yes. Oh, you know that sound means time for In the Paddock F1, Greenie and the Cheese. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking us out on YouTube. Please hit that subscribe and like button if you're checking us out there or anywhere. Just please hit that subscribe and like button. It helps us out with the algorithms. But this is not a race week. As we head out from Sao Paulo, heading out to Viva Las Vegas. So that means it's in the news.
In the news.
And a gambling update as well. Now, are we prepared to talk about this, since we have teased this for like 2 in the news episodes of the gambling update of the preseason bets?
So first of all, thank you for bringing it up, and thank you everyone for tuning in, listening, subscribing, and all that stuff. We're going to blow this up, so keep jumping in there and leave a comment about whatever, but mostly potentially about my incompetence here, because first of all, we are dead even, 4,182 Greenie bucks. The ups and downs of this season, I took the lead, you took the lead, I took the lead, and now we're dead even. All right, so congratulations. At preseason, we moved aside 500 Greenie bucks for 5 separate bets. And each week I've teased going back into the old episodes and figuring out what we bet on and what we didn't bet on so we can get an accurate number as of now. I've completely failed on that. So I have not finished that project just yet. But I will get there soon.
You've been teasing this damn thing for like a month, dude.
We got like Vegas coming.
Like 2 in the news episodes. That is a month. That is like a month, dude. That is sad. That is a month. And you fail. That is a month late on your assignment. You know what a teacher would give you? That's a big fat F.
I admit it. It was a bad job. Real bad job by me. But
that is a bad job.
That is
a bad job.
I'll have to make it up.
I'm not mad. I am disappointed.
That's fair.
I am disappointed.
It's fair. I gotta do better. We're going to Vegas, the happiest place on earth, in only 6 days. So
apparently maybe Macau might be the gambling capital of the world. That's what I've been hearing a rumor around too. Because a lot of people are not going to Vegas anymore. So Macau might have taken that over.
Macau, the former production home of Hot Wheels. And other Mattel toys. All right, so let's get into it. We had a couple in the news stories we wanted to talk about, but I think something we didn't spend enough time on last episode, and something that's been really distressing. And as we head to the end of the season, it's becoming more and more clear that Ferrari is just having an absolute disaster of a season. One of your bets, not to tease, but one of your bets that you bet 100 Greenie bucks on was that Lewis Hamilton was going to win a race this year. With 3 races to go, not counting a sprint race specifically, Which, if you put that caveat in there, you might have. But yeah, with 3 races to go, the likelihood is slim. Okay, let's put it at
Oh,
there.
put that at like
Amongst
0.
other bets, you can put that in the
I
L.
put that at 0.
But I think we need to really look at Ferrari and what is going on at the top of Ferrari, and what is with the underperformance, and why has it been a disaster really over the last 7 to 8 seasons? I think not since they made a run maybe with Vettel. But was it 2017?
Yeah, but then they had the illegal engine and stuff for that one too. So
I mean, that was even the last time they felt they were. I felt they were even competitive at any time, and that's almost a decade ago. And ever since then, it's just been downhill. They have probably one of the best drivers outside of Max Verstappen, arguably in Charles Leclerc right now. You might argue he might be the second best, overall, potentially behind Max. And I do want to get into John Elkann a little bit, but I want your thoughts on the last decade of Ferrari. What is going on? How many, front office switches have we had? And just the overview of the disaster of the last 10 years of a team that should be competing at the top every single season and hasn't come close to consistently winning races.
There's been tons of changes, but none of them have been the right move. On the results wise, you could say they brought in the wrong people consistently. I mean, you have Lewis there this year, and you have the rumors and things that come out from behind the scenes that they're not willing to change. They're still stuck in their old ways. You haven't won a driver's title in 18 years?
18?
I can't even remember the last thing I won a constructors either, so off the top of my head right now, I am pretty medicated.
It's fair.
But they consistently make the wrong choices. They miss the car every year. That's why you were asking me before the show why I'm not more fired up. Because I've learned to accept. Because every time they say the car is going to be awesome this year, it's going to be great. They're going to be challenging. The car is a dud. Let's be honest. Over the past decade, every time they say that, the car has been an absolute dud. Every damn time.
It's like you really
at least they've won a race here and there to give you a tidbit of hope. But this year's just been an absolute horror show. They make the wrong moves consistently in the behind the scenes for departments. They're unwilling to change from rumors. You haven't won anything in a goddamn long time. Maybe it's time to change. Other teams have made changes and went different directions and got more modern, and look where they are. It's just, it is a dumpster fire yearly anymore. I think they also let go of people that they probably maybe shouldn't have. I mean, especially with, Matteo, what he's done since he's gone over to Sauber and, soon to be Audi. I mean, that looks like a pretty smart move on their part. So apparently it wasn't his fault there, Ferrari. And it probably has to do a lot with the brass, just making the wrong damn decisions consistently and unwilling to change.
Well, let's talk about that brass, and really want to talk about John Elkann, who I think more and more it's coming to light that this is a guy who really inherited a franchise, was given, from his grandfather who owned the stake. So who is John Elkann, and where does he come from? So he was he was CEO or still is CEO, I believe, of Exor, which is a large capital firm which owns a big chunk of Ferrari. So now you have an ownership, and that's his ownership role and ownership stake in the family. His grandfather was known as the uncrowned king of Italy. And for those listening in Italy and those Italian fans listening to the program, Gianni Agnelli is definitely a name that you know and that I need to get better at pronouncing, because he was for many, many years known as besides being the executive of Fiat and the CEO there for many years, the wealthiest man in Italy as well. At his height, cheese. All right? The man was worth 4.5% of the GDP of the entire nation of Italy. Think about that. At the height, this family's worth was 4.5% of the entire GDP of Italy. All right. Wow. There was a plan in place to not have John Elkann as part of it, and there are lots of lawsuits behind the scenes. Families fight over billions of dollars as these families fight over what's going on in direction of money. But John Elkann's kind of caught in the middle, and his history in Formula One and understanding the business of Formula One is pretty sparse. If you look into it, I can't find anything outside of him being given a large chunk of Ferrari through Exor, through his capital firm, and through financials, that he really doesn't have the understanding of what's needed in Formula One. He might understand business as a whole, but the business of sport and winning isn't the same as the business of Ferrari, right? Now, let's talk about the Ferrari brand. The Ferrari brand itself sells itself, right? The red and that yellow and that black, that sells, all right? Nobody cares about the F1 team when some dude rolls up your driveway driving a Ferrari, cherry red, straight out the wax. Are you going to give a shit what Ferrari F1 team is doing right now? Like, no. Someone's like, hop in, I'll take you for a ride. You'd be like, no, not really. The F1 team kind of stinks. Like, they're two completely separate entities. And Ferrari's always going to make money just on their logo and on their brand, right? So now you have F1 Ferrari. How much more revenue does F1 Ferrari produce when they do well? Or very much like other teams around the world, the Dallas Cowboys, right? They continue to make money regardless of how good or bad they are. Man U. There's teams all over the world that doesn't matter if they're top of the table or bottom. They are going to be generating revenue just on their logo. The Yankees. The Los Angeles Lakers, like these global franchises are always going to make money whether they're good or bad. So is there a reason for Ferrari to make a change from a John Elkann? Or is Ferrari just going to be stuck with someone who does not understand the intricacies of winning in F1 and is more concerned about the logo of Ferrari and selling that brand? Because the Tifosi should be pissed as hell when you think about it in those terms.
That's absolutely fair. I mean, maybe they should have somebody that runs the team outside of somebody that reports to maybe Elkann and the board, but somebody else that just runs the team separately and doesn't run it as a business, runs it as a sports franchise as it should be run, since it is a sports franchise. The F1 wing. Does it probably bring in some cash and things? Sure. Probably. I mean, if the team is running well, you're going to have more fans. You're going to sell more of, your other kind of products. Does it increase car sales? I don't know. I'd have to go look at the numbers at that,
Oh,
to
they
be
sell
honest.
out every model they put. If you know the
Yeah,
way
but
that
it's a Ferrari because
that
it's a
Ferrari,
limited amount. It's a limited amount
I
of
think it's
cars they put out.
375
So.
per. I think it's 375 per run is what they do per vehicle.
So I mean, so it's a limited amount anyway. So, but it's, I mean, it's a global. It's Ferrari. They have their own Ferrari land out there in was that Abu Dhabi? So we can go in like for like a month's time here, just about, or a little under that. So it's a global brand. It probably does increase. I mean, if your brand is winning at the pinnacle of motorsports, I can't see that it wouldn't help you out at all, and to make more cash. Like, I can't see that being a bad thing. The decisions at the top have just been awful. Probably needs to have somebody in charge that knows what the hell they're doing in regards to Formula One to get the team going forward, that can report to Elkann or the board. That probably needs to happen, above like somebody that the team principal would have to then report to go up. So a little bit of a chain of command instead of just the team principal of Ferrari to the, head of the whole shebang. But there's a lot of things that have to change behind the scenes for them to go in the right direction. And I don't know if that's happening anytime soon, unfortunately. Hopefully with the new car. Would I put greenie bucks on it? Absolutely not.
Not again in 2026. You're not going to make that mistake again. You're not going to make that mistake again. Listen, Ferrari is the absolute pinnacle global brand of cars, but is that logo going to mean anything to the next generation if they are not the pinnacle? Is that Mercedes logo going to mean more to the next generation? Does the Red Bull logo mean more in racing, right? Is that Ferrari diminished? Is the Lamborghini logo more of a dominant? You want to be the best. You strive to be the best. When you are, even if you're like, nobody in those positions are like, oh, I'm making enough money. Regardless of how we feel as plebeians and peons of this world, Ferrari and every other company wants to make more and more and more and more and more marketplace. And does that logo mean the same to you and I? To the next generation coming up? And that's a major, major question that Ferrari has to answer. And how much does Formula One play a role in that?
Yeah, that's fair.
And
It's
that's my
absolutely
rant
fair.
for the day. You ready for Vegas, baby?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's the one
gonna be
episode.
huge.
We have a singing intro, so always excited. It's Vegas, baby. Night race. It's not going to be at like 3 a.m. here, so that's going to be nice. That's going to be a nice change.
A little better. A little better.
It's going to be it's the 11 o'clock race time instead of 2 a.m. So that's nice.
Yes. And the only racetrack that I was absolutely bummed walking up and down on at one point wasn't an active racetrack. Just an active chaos.
This is true.
So
I've definitely walked that strip bombed as well.
as many of us have, a rite of passage for U.S. citizens.
Bombed and God knows what else.
It's going to be a hell of a race in Vegas. Interesting race in Vegas. The jury's still out in my mind. I don't love the Vegas race, the actual race itself. Background, the scenery, the hype of Vegas itself is fun, but the big straightaway. But I don't know. Same with Miami. I'm not at all sold on Miami.
Well, at least Vegas is on the streets of Vegas itself. It's not in the parking lot like Miami is.
That's an absolute ridiculous race. But that's a whole other episode for a whole time. I'm sure I'll have all winter to talk about all this stuff. Listen, if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, do it now. If you're listening to us on the podcast, go check us out on YouTube. If you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube, go check us out on the podcast. Everything and every like and every listens all helps everything we do here, and we appreciate all those who have been reaching out as well and donating and subscribing to the pod, whether it be financially or otherwise, so we appreciate that as well. And we'll see you all in Vegas. Say what you got to say, brother.
Well, we'll see you guys next time. Vegas, baby. And as always, stay medicated, my friends.
Peace.
Ferrari's gonna drive you crazy. Mad Max, he's so amazing. McLaren, Merc, and more. In the paddock with Greenie and the cheese. And they know their way around the track. When you need the facts, you can trust them. They won't steer you wrong. Always right on time. They know their way around a microphone. And it's all right, 'cause they do it right. In the paddock with Greenie and the cheese. In the paddock with